3-2, 2-3, 2-1. I'm all over the place for this one a little bit. Oh, what is going on? Like with this, my green screen's having a mare. I am furious about this. Absolutely furious that this is the case, because I was like, we were good enough to get a point out of that game. We weren't good for parts, and I'm just absolutely furious. First off, terrible. We'll see if anybody else joins. Get your comments in down below. Let me know what you think. Oh, I don't know what to say, and I wish there was somebody here or somebody will turn up to help put this off. My internet's having a bloody mare at the same time as well. Oh, this is not a good day today. Anyway, what did you guys think of the performance and everything? Let me know in the comments down below, because my internet is just not happy today. It is what it is. At the same time, no, it isn't what it is. We didn't have a good performance overall. There was lots of parts of that where we were like, right, the beginning half we weren't good enough. We genuinely weren't good enough. Overall, we just weren't good. It's just like this. It's just like, I don't know why this is happening or what's happening, but we need to start better in games. That was not a very. Tom's it. Tom, I'm pissed, mate. I'm furious. We both got the same color tops on, which is very nice as well. But, mate, where do we even start? I've just been. You were just speaking at half time, going, "We're pissed." I'm not even more pissed now.
Yeah, mate, I had to take a sorry. Let me just. I had to take a second to recompose myself, actually, because yeah, it was that kind of frustrating. I mean, exactly. Where do you want to start? Because you could start with the VAR decisions, which just didn't go our way, or you could start with the. I know, mate. I know. Or you could start with the lineup, the first half performance. I know you were just touching on it. Yeah.
Thanks for cheering me up, Chester. Sorry, but that was funny. Ref needs a spanking.
He seemed so happy to give the decisions against us. I don't know.
It's been a week of it, mate. It's been a week of it. I know we disagreed a little bit on Thursday, but
yeah, like I think you said at halftime, the letter of the law thing. I think that for me, there's no debate about the Vestergaard one, because it was a foul on Vestergaard, and it was quite clear that he got pulled down. I think. Do you know what? I think he was actually appealing for the foul, and that's why his hand was up in the air, and then obviously it hit his hand, and it was handball. But the fact is, he got fouled in the lead up to that. And I saw at halftime they showed the tunnel, and Rodgers was remonstrating with the referee, telling him exactly what had happened. But then the other two, I suppose, okay, letter of the law. You stood in front. We got one at Norwich, didn't we? We had one go our way against Norwich. They scored one. They scored one, and it got ruled out for that same reason. So I guess letter of the law, okay, if you're stood in front of the keeper and you're offside. But I mean, even the first one, I could sort of let it go just about, because he was kind of more in the eye line and stuff. But I mean, both of them, there's no way the keeper is saving either of those. Not a chance. And especially the second one, the Ndidi had flew past Barnes. Barnes wasn't in his eyesight. And yeah, it was just one of those days, mate.
They kept saying it in the commentary, it was in the vicinity. And I go, well, yes, but that shouldn't be. If you impede, then sure. If he's like, I've seen it before where Schmeichel can't get to the ball at all. He's completely covered. Again, apologies. Even my internet's not having it today, which is really annoying, of all things. But yeah, in the vicinity, it's just not good enough as well.
No, yeah, no, like in the vicinity, it's like, yeah, there's the kind of, yeah, okay, there's the letter of the law, but then there's also kind of logic, right? Logical decisions, and like if you actually take different factors into it, okay, is he in his eye line? How quickly did the ball go into the net? Like, could the keeper have got anywhere near it? You know, and if you actually take all of those into account, then to be honest, both goals should have stood. But yeah, this just seems to become a new rule now in football, and it's a bit of a get out of jail free card for the keepers, to be honest, because if they see anyone anywhere near them in their vicinity, then they automatically appeal, and they know that they can get a foul. Although I did notice that, especially for the second one, maybe for both, Sanchez did not appeal at all.
No,
like, you know, not at all. Anyway, I think that's enough about the decisions, because I could just go on about that all day. But I think we should talk about, you know, Leicester and the team.
We should, and I think you've helped get it off my chest a little bit. I was just sitting here for the first couple of, like, I know the first minute of YouTube super important. I was just sitting there just furious. And I was like, oh my God, but we'll get on to the first half. Again, I've got a little bit off the chest now. Right,
Yeah.
first off, Brighton looked all over us. We were just lethargic. We weren't good enough. We were losing ball. Players like Tielemans was giving the balls away in stupid positions. Maddison, I tweeted out at half time before the match. I was thinking, hopefully this is the game where he can step up his levels. No, didn't happen. Loads of bad performances all over the pitch, to be honest, and giving away balls cheaply. But part of that is credit to Brighton as well.
Yeah, I think you know you can look at how Brighton are, you know, where they are in the table and how they've started the season. So yeah,
Beautiful throw.
I mean, you could even
Appreciate
say
that. Cheer me up a little bit.
you could even say 13 if you chuck in the linesman because he played the biggest part in all of them probably. But yeah, no credit to Brighton. Like obviously they are where they are in the table for a reason. They started really well, but I don't think we helped. To be honest, as soon as I saw the starting lineup, I was like, I was a bit confused. I was a bit confused because we had Samare in the team, which I can understand, but then we had Maddison still playing as a winger. And how many times have we seen Maddison play on the wing and not really been very effective?
Yeah, totally right. Totally right. And we've seen it especially when we first got him and he was kind of on fire. He had the streak, and then we put him out on the wide and it just didn't work. Or we got somebody else, put him all Brighton on, and then pushed him in centre, and it just worked so much better. Same with Perez as well. Why they're both actually cams and neither of them are actually wingers. But it's just like there was. Sorry, you were saying, but at least they made a substitution at half time. And let's be honest, Lookman I think looked fantastic. I think he looked a really solid player, winning it back in good positions, holding the ball. Some of his first touches was incredible as well.
Yeah, I think obviously the second half was a bit of a different story, and we definitely deserved to get something out of the game. I think if the first offside goal hadn't have been ruled out, if we had made it 2-2 with 20 minutes, half an hour to go, I think we would have gone on to win that game. So yeah, the second half was a different story, and I think bringing Lookman on was a big part of that. But you know we've said it before. How many times do we do this? Do we show up for the second half, but the first half's we're all over the place. But I think a lot of it today has to be put down to that lineup and the way that we set up for the game. Obviously Maddison's not on form, so then you take him out of his natural position, put him in a position where in the past he's always kind of struggled. We've got Lookman there. I know I said it after the game during the week against Napoli, but Kelechi, I mean, how long have we got to, see him not in the team in the league? It's getting a bit ridiculous now.
Yeah. Definitely agree. And especially since how well he performed. Again, I think in this match he didn't perform as well. I think that was down to Brighton's tactics kind of changing. There was a lot of emphasis on that right-hand side with Lookman and I've got his name is now, the player beginning with C for there, the number 3. The left and the right-hand side. Then they tighten that up so Kelechi could. I don't think it was his fault. But again, once that happened, Barnes on that left, we're seeing some really good signs. And again, I've got a little bit off my chest now, but Barnes looked decent at points as well, I think.
Yeah, I think that's it. Once you get it off your chest and you try and put all of the controversy to one side and look at it. Okay, first half we were bad. We took Maddison off at half time. Second half was much improved, but again, it's we've seen it many times before where we give a team a 1 or 2 goal lead, a head start, and then we start playing football. But yeah, I think that the slight change in the second half did help with that, and having just more direct kind of players to be able to kind of run at them and stuff. Tielemans started kind of growing into the game a lot more. But yeah, it's just really disappointing we didn't get something out of that game. We definitely deserved to get at least a draw out of that.
Yeah, I still can't believe we lost, to be honest. There was definitely parts at times where I was like, this is... Again, the first half they deserved to be up. They were creating chances, they were doing things, but in the second half, Brighton started to just sit back and absorb the pressure. And the disallowed goal, it was just loads of things that we were turning it on, but things weren't quite clicking. And I don't think that was anything to do with... I think it was just we had the opportunity, we put it in the back of the net, but for some reason or another they were ruled offside. I mean, there was just in the first half, or we'll get into the first half. There's not really much, but Vestergaard I think had a good first half. Ricardo looked a bit out of nowhere as well. There was lots of defensive errors. Defensively we were okay. Going forward we were poor as well.
Yeah, like I think, yeah, and I guess that kind of back line is starting to kind of gel a bit now. They played a few times. I know, honestly, I don't know how I've managed to kind of even articulate anything at the moment because I was so angry towards the end of that game. I think for me, I actually said to someone that was the worst 90 minutes for VAR and that I've ever seen. I think, and I know I'm biased. I know I'm looking at this through blue tinted glasses, but Jesus, like everything was just going against us. This, and they're all decisions that realistically, even the people in the VAR, you could look at those either way. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I definitely agree. I'm just going to share this for anybody that know. If you guys know that the Malarkey chat from the Maple Foxes. Give me a break. Yeah, that was a bunch of malarkey. That's Alex's code word for a word that we can't say on this show. Let's just say that. He said it once, and but yeah, shout out to the Canadian Fox on that one as well. But yeah, I think Vardy
But
was non-existent in the game. I don't think we got the ball to him enough. So you were saying.
this is so Madison. I feel for him. He's trying. It's not like he's not trying. I know people are saying his head's been turned or like he's not fully. His head's not in it. I think he's, if anything, he's getting. There's this stat of how long he's gone without a goal and assist, and he's really almost trying too hard. He's obviously feeling the pressure, but for his own sake, we need to take him out of the firing line. It's not working, and the players on the bench, some of the players on the bench must be looking at it and just being like, how are we not getting a chance in this team? And you touched on Vardy being a bit isolated. Again, this does happen quite a lot when he's up front on his own. Like if you give him a chance, don't get me wrong, he'll score. We've seen that already this season, but I think he's better off, especially at his age now, with someone else there to kind of do some of the work with him and to have a kind of different option. So. I just think it's only a matter of time until we see this. We start playing two up front, and I think we'll see a big difference when we do.
Yeah, I'm really hoping so because this can't keep continuing. I mean, the way that the media will look at this, I think, will be very different, and Leicester have fallen off and stuff like that. But the decisions was just woeful. The thing is, it was good to see because if we carried on the way that we did the first half in the second half, at least Brendan Rodgers made the change in Lookman, and we went for the ball. However, went for the goal. However, we started brightly in the first 10 minutes or so, but we need to keep that. I know we're playing twice a week. We have to keep that level of not just intensity, but that level of performance up. We can't keep giving it away. And again, that's one of the reasons why we end up losing the game.
Yeah, like I was thinking at halftime, especially, there's a lot more to be positive about in the second half. Again, we say this, we do end up saying this a lot, but I was thinking, the Napoli game, we played quite well. I reckon, like especially considering the quality of opposition. Again, the Man City game, but we had a big week with Man City, Napoli, and Brighton, and we've ended up with a draw out of those three games, which I think we're entitled at this point to expect a bit more than that from these three games, especially two of them being at home. But yeah, I was thinking obviously at the start of the season, you're like, it's okay, we'll find our form. But now it's like that was our fifth Premier League game. We've had a Europa League game, and you'd hope to start seeing us, really starting to kind of hit our best levels. Not just in the second half of a game, from the start. But I think that Rodgers is still trying to figure out his best formation, his best lineup, and we're yet to see like a consistent 90 minutes of how good we can actually be. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, and I think I agree, and I think it's not. The games are coming thick and fast. We haven't got time to even analyze the games. I mean, we've got another game on Saturday. We've got another game on Wednesday. So these games are just going to keep going. And it's like this, I think, until the end of the month as well, until October time, I think, until we have an international break. Then a lot of our players, because we're at such a high level, are going off. So just looking at, again, first start for Samore today. Not really. He had some good passive play. I don't think there was anything amazing to shout about, but decent debut in the Premier League, would you say?
Yeah, I thought I was really impressed with him on Thursday against Napoli. I thought today he was a bit quieter. Yeah, I kind of started to figure out what he offers, right? Like he's really calm on the ball and also really hard to dispossess, and he keeps it very kind of neat and tidy and simple. But at the same time, you're not gonna He's not going to bring kind of much in an attacking sense to the team, really. He's just a very solid presence, a very reliable guy to have in the middle. That's the way I see it. But it was the first time we've seen him, Ndidi, and Tielemans playing as a free, and I don't know, it didn't quite kind of gel for me in parts of that game. But I think from what we've seen from Samari so far, he does look promising, and yeah, like I say, like a reliable man to have in the middle, just not necessarily a game changer, like someone who's gonna really kind of change the game in an attacking sense.
Yeah, and I agree, and I think he might be, but just not yet. And that's why I think we'd give him the year to kind of bed in and understand the Premier League as well. Nandez, shout out to you, mate. Make sure you go and check out Nandez' channel as well. If you want to jump on, mate, let me know. I'll send you the link as well. What's the point of VAR? It won us in this kit. It did win us the Premier League. I had to remind myself it won us the FA Cup. But at the same time, this one just sticks in the gut, doesn't it, Tom? It just really just sticks in, doesn't it?
Yeah, they sort of do, like at the Euros, like the VAR got a lot of praise for taking a bit more of a back foot and not kind of interfering all the time and like a lot of people sort of praise that. So I mean, the Premier League have sort of taken that and tried to run with it. So they seem to only really get involved if it's, like I say, something I suppose that they deem clear and obvious, or it seems to be very kind of sporadic when they actually decide to get involved. And the ref didn't go and actually look at the screen for any of them. And I am convinced that if they had instructed him to go and look at the screen for that for their penalty, he would have seen the foul on Vestergaard and he would have given us a free kick. Which it's these fine margins as well, right? Like it's very easy to be really negative, but against Man City, Vardy was just offside for that goal. In this game, like all the decisions were just so tight, and then one day they could have all gone our way, but today they didn't. So it's like, small things like that just completely change games, and we've just been on the wrong side of it, both in the Premier League and in that Europa League game as well.
I think you're right. However, let's be honest as well. I think that there was points where we should have done better in both of them games this week. We should have defensively solidified up a little bit, which again, I was talking with Ant, and Ant's convinced that I am the most optimistic Leicester fan. And I go, I'm not, but I try and talk about it quite objectively at the same time. I think over time, and with these teams, when like Timothy Castanier's been out, Ryan Bertrand's been out, Soyuncu's not really been any. Well, Vestergaard is just coming back from an injury. Once these four start gelling with Ricardo coming back into play, I think that solid defense and our ability to get from the defense forward will be solidified. But it just hurts so much to go, look, especially today, we could have got something, but we have to also criticize ourselves.
Definitely. We need, like, again, it's easy to have a go at the ref and at VAR, but we weren't good enough for at least the first kind of 45 minutes of that game, for the first half. But yeah, like I say, it's like I think it's easy. I try not to be too negative as well, and I try and look at things from a kind of, from an almost neutral perspective. Try and not get too emotionally involved in the way that I'm looking at things. But I think that, like I said, like we can expect to see certain levels at this point. Like I think that's fair to and when obviously with the injuries and stuff, like you pointed out, they are very just and fair excuses. Like when you got all your strongest back four essentially all missing, like I said before, any team would struggle to cope with something like that. But at the same time, when, like you said, they're starting to come back now, and I think the Rodgers starts running out of, or we as fans start running out of the excuses a little bit in terms of, okay, well, this is why it's going wrong, or we're missing this player. When the players are back, it starts being like, well, are we picking the right team, and are we picking the right formation? Because you've pretty much got a full strength side, other than those really long-term injuries, which are going to take a bit longer.
Yeah, no, exactly. And again, that's why I'm kind of like, overall, we will get there. It's not going to take long, but what I'm really annoyed at mostly is the narrative that will be spun, because Leicester's not doing very well. They've fallen off. It's Tielemans there. It's Tielemans' head swung by this whole. It's very easy to make them, and I think that's what's going to happen. I'm just going to go back into the comments as well. Sit down. The VAR was mostly on our side last season. This season, the opposite. I don't know if I agree about that, but again, I think I might agree when I'm less emotional, maybe when I'm not like now. Derek puts in, thanks for the comment, Derek. Why do VAR see the same angles we're looking at? It's a good point.
That's happened a couple of times now, and there's another thing I said with the Soyuncu. Obviously, you were at the game, Neil, so you might not have seen it, but with the Soyuncu one at Norwich, when the ref went to see the VAR, there was a couple of angles of that tackle. One, it looked like it was not a foul at all, and he sort of kind of maybe got a touch on the ball. And another one, it looked like a clear foul. When the ref went over to the screen, they showed him the angle of the clear foul, and within about 2 seconds, he gave it straight away. And today, the VAR for the Vestergaard handball, they seem to only look at it from the wide angle, like from the from the camera on the stand, whereas they didn't even have one look at a close-up, which obviously it does baffle me. These things baffle me. Like, I don't know whether these whether they just don't know how to use all of the technology right, or like I said, I think they're trying this hands-off approach. So they're just like, look, there's nothing obvious there, so let's just leave it. That seems to be what they're doing.
It's still not the best though to say something like that.
Right.
It's like, oh well, hands-off approach, but it's cost us games, it's cost us points.
I know.
I mean, a draw would have been probably the correct result, and that's how I'm kind of seeing it. However, 3 results basically means us gets the win as well. So they were much better first half, we were much better second half. Overall, that's the draw, but we managed to put the ball in the net, back in the net at the same time. It's a good point as well. Why do we only play well when we are trading? Again, Brendan Rodgers has to take accountability that we do show up in the second half. However, I don't know if you thought saying when we're 1-0 down, I'm like, same old Leicester doing this again. Just solid. So once it solidifies up, we will be okay. But this is not. We can't keep going down and then we're chasing a game. It's not on.
Yeah, it's a recurring theme. It's happened all through last season, especially at home. I remember that there was a lot of games, but it's like the first goal in the Premier League is so crucial to games, and we just give ourselves a mountain to climb every time, and we only see the best of us when we're winning. I often say when we do score first, which seems to be very rare, but when we score first and we score early, that's when we truly see the best of Leicester, because they get a bit more space. The confidence starts flowing, and that's when we can kind of see them play at their best. But yeah, how often is it that we wait till halftime or 60 minutes to start seeing us actually kind of show up for a game and like wake up and be like, oh God, you know what I mean? We're losing here. We need to sort this out. But again, Rodgers has to take a lot of responsibility for that as well. And I think the lineup choices do. I saw one of the comments by Brookline G. The game was lost when we saw Maddison on the team sheet and playing on the right. I sort of agree with that. I have to say, when I saw that lineup, I was confused and not very confident. We saw that in the first half.
When we've got options as well, we've got Lookman on that right hand side. I know he's not right out. We've got Albrighton on that right hand side as well. Both of them didn't start as well. Thor also said, "Is James Justin coming back soon? He will be." Look, we saw with Ricardo, with them kind of injuries, they will take a long time to come back. So even though they are back, they will. We can't expect them to hit the ground running because he will get another injury. He will just take time, and we'll build him into the squad. And then one thing as well, I want to criticize as well, because the set piece, I looked at it and I was like, oh, got a set piece. Denny Welbeck's second goal, they deserve to score it, but Tom, it's not good enough as well defensively from that set piece. That's just set me off on another rant. Like, we know that's an issue. They've not sorted it once again. Nobody's really marking Welbeck. Free header, goal, zonal marking. I still don't understand it, and it baffles me that we've managed to concede that. Brighton deserved to score, but we should do a lot better.
Yeah, I think Vestergaard has improved us in that sense, and like he does, having his physicality I think it has made a bit of a difference. And I think that was the first goal from a set piece we've conceded, which, don't get me wrong, it wasn't great. It wasn't great defending, but I think maybe we have showed a bit of improvement in that area. And we also we scored 2 goals from offensive set pieces. They just both got ruled out.
Yeah.
But it's still frustrating to concede a goal like that. And again, that almost, obviously it didn't kill the game because we nearly came back into it, but having that goal just after half time, it just made it, even an even bigger task to try and come back into the game. I've seen another comment there that Rodgers is getting confused because we've now got too many options. From Sidhan
No, I don't
LCFC.
think so.
We still have a good season. I think Rodgers getting confused because we have too many options. I wouldn't say that's the exact way I'd phrase it, but I think that like part of that I think us having a stronger squad has changed things a little bit in that it's not so easy for Rodgers to say to pick the same lineup, and like I think he is still figuring out his best team, like I said, and figuring out how to try and blend all these players together. And like we've both touched on, we've got a lot of quality on the bench we haven't really seen yet. Daka we've barely seen. Dewsbury Hall hasn't had a chance yet, really. Obviously, we still got like Justin to come back. So I think if players aren't on form, we need to take them out of the team. That's the key thing. We don't need to keep playing them. And so I'm sorry, but this is the thing with Maddison. Like he's not on form, so he shouldn't be playing. It's as simple as that.
And also, he's not just on form. You can't have favourites now. We've criticised him in the past, even when they're not playing. When they're not playing, Maddison hasn't had a good game pretty much since we started the season, if not before that as well. And we thought that was down to the injury, but now he's over the injury. He's not recovered from that, so he needs to be dropped. Because for the betterment of the team, he came off. We play better second half. It's not as simple as that, but it's an indicator of why. He was getting the ball, losing it, trying to drive forward, and he's not a driving forward kind of player. He's a player that gets in these positions, takes a good touch, passes the ball on, or gets a good free kick outside the box or something. He can't take a player on it. I think that was stupid of Brendan Rodgers to do something. I do like Brendan Rodgers, but he definitely got that one wrong today. And the comments are saying so, and I agree. Maddison shouldn't be on that starting team.
I feel a little bit. I feel a little bit sorry for him, just in the sense that today I think he was played out of position. I feel like when he plays beyond Vardy, when he gets the ball, it's very predictable. If he wants to get an assist, he's got a through ball to Vardy, and that's kind of his option. I feel like if we do play 5-3-2, you could have him behind two strikers, and that gives him more possibilities to create something. But the way that it is at the moment, like I said, there's just too much pressure on him to produce. And I think there's a stat, isn't there? He hasn't had a goal. He hasn't registered a goal or assist in something like
since January.
Since January, it's like 20 games. I know he was injured for some of that, but something like 20 games. We're getting around that kind of point, and that for an attacking midfielder in the Premier League, I'm sorry, it's just not good enough. And I think you can partly. I think there's a large part of it is Maddison, but partly as well, you need to look at our tactics and our lineups. Like, why is that happening? Why is our attacking midfielder not getting involved in goals and creating? And how can we address it? And if not, then like I know we keep saying it, but Kelechi has to play. I'm sorry. Like Iheanacho has to play. It'll help Vardy out. It'll give him a bit more support. It'll give us, it's a bit more goal scoring threat on the pitch. It takes Maddison out the firing line, and like I think Rodgers is being a bit stubborn at this point to not kind of see that and make that change.
I think so. And Sidham was going to look a good point. Oh, no, that one. The 4-4-2, yeah. The straight 4-4-2 with Iheanacho and Lookman. I mean, that could work as well. Barnes on one side, Vardy up top with Iheanacho. Them two centre midfield. And I think with two flying fullbacks, I think that could work as well. So I think that could work. You were saying two up top with a 5, but a 4 could also work. But having Vardy up there on his own, you need to be able to get somebody the service up to him. And having that would be perfect. I think we could work as well.
Yeah, my when we went to Napoli, my brother's the biggest advocate for 4-4-2 going. Like for playing two up front in particular. But he was saying that 4-4-2 is actually kind of the way he sees it. Is part of Leicester's DNA? Just because back in the day we used to have Heskey and Cottee or Heskey and Claridge, and then we had Vardy and Nugent. We had when we won the league, we were playing 4-4-2 essentially with Vardy and Okazaki. Yeah. And we won the league playing 4-4-2 or 4-4-1-1, however you want to look at it. So there's nothing wrong with that formation, but in my mind, I don't remember Rodgers ever liking a 4-4-2. The only time we've played 2 up front is when we've played 3 at the back, 3-5-2. Basically because of injuries forced him into that. But I don't. I like that formation. Don't get me wrong, but I would like to see us play 4-4-2, but I just know that Rodgers is not a fan of that formation. Like I say, I can't remember him ever deploying that, really.
The times that he has deployed it has been a 4-4-2 diamond, which is slightly different.
Which I don't really
And
like.
no, and I
No.
think he's tried that a couple of times. And I think he played the two Belgians in Pratt and Tillemans alongside each other, but that's before Tillemans really hit his form and was like smashing players. So yeah, it is frustrating, but I've got again. This is what we do after some games as well. I think when Alex has been on before as well, we've just ranted about it and get it off your chest. So you feel a little bit better because it's not happening. People are already talking about the Millwall game. We'll try and preview that, but the game's coming thick and fast at the moment. Trying to set all this up is a lot. Brooklyn puts another good point. We have moved more to one-touch passing. This favours Perez and Lookman. Maddison is best when the ball is dominant. That's no longer his role. I think that's a good point, and I think there was one passage of play that we did where we played nice 1-2s around people. And you want to have that in your locker, but you want to be able to do other sides as well. And today, I don't think that was the tactic that quite worked to play against Brighton, Tom.
Yeah, I think sometimes we try to be a bit too clever, and I think we saw that as well with a couple of like the free kick moves we were doing, and like we just and I don't get me wrong, I like it. And the goal we scored, the Vardy's goal was great play, and it kind of was that kind of one touch play. It was a great goal. So I do like us playing that way, but it's high risk and high reward also because you do need it to kind of come off perfectly for it to work. Yeah, like I saw some comments about Barnes for the 2 goals. I wouldn't blame Barnes necessarily, but again, I think tactically, so the first one got disallowed, right? And surely you live and learn from that. Not him necessarily, but tactically, like, can you not on the fly say, okay, next time don't stand on the keeper, or if you do, make sure you get onside, because yeah, like, you should learn. You should learn from those mistakes, and it happened twice. I do feel, I don't want to blame him too much, but it's just frustrating because we sort of played into their hands really there.
Yeah, exactly. We don't give especially with VAR, don't give them an excuse to write you off because they will find it. And we've seen that with the Man City Southampton game recently as well. We've seen it with other games, so don't give them the opportunity to. Let's have a look. Glenn's in the comments. Hi, Glenn. I bet you're raging at this one as well, mate. I just brought up your tweet earlier as well, the Malarkey one. Maddison only 8% physically fit and 50% mentally. I think we could use Castagna on the right. Lookman on the right, but not Castagna, I think. Lookman doesn't, I think, play as an out-and-out right, but he plays on the right and he drifts into different positions, which I quite like because it allows people, you can bring in like to a back 3 with Bertrand or Castagna holding. Then you've got Ricardo on the overlap and thing as well. But I think we've touched on Maddison a lot, but I think, yeah, in that, I think we do have to shout out Lookman. I know we did it before, but he's not playing on that right. But again, you were just saying about the touch he did when I celebrated like we got a penalty because I thought it was a penalty and it was just outside. And just what you mentioned there, why are you being stupid? Kelechi Iheanacho, just try and whip it in and get something instead of hitting across the box and then it ends in nothing.
Yeah, little things like that they do frustrate us. So kind of play the percentages sort of thing. But yeah, Lookman is a definite positive. I think it's having those direct players. Like I think we've been over reliant on Barnes like the last year or so in terms of being able to run at players and make something kind of happen. So I think Lookman gives us someone else who can sort of do that. And yeah, I think he has been really positive. It's a shame that, like you say, it didn't quite come off in terms of like a goal or anything today. But yeah, I think to Glenn's point, I agree that Maddison is only like I say, it's not like I'm angry with Maddison so much. I just feel like he should be taken out of the firing line, and like he's not on form, so he should, and maybe he's not fully fit either physically or mentally, absolutely. But if you polled Leicester fans right now, how many would say that Vardy and Iheanacho need to play together? Like I think most people would say
majority for sure. Majority for sure.
Definitely.
Again, as somebody's put as well. I think this is David. David, if you're on the wrong account, my friend. Rodgers seems to be stubborn in post-match interviews. He seems to stick to his guns, even though he hasn't gone well. I'm sure he won't accept responsibility. I think he kind of will, but at the same time, he needs to learn from his mistakes, and this is a mistake. The mistake is the formation we set up with the first half and the mentality, and that is down to the players, but also the manager. Both of them need to take responsibility for that. But the manager puts the team out there, and he shouldn't be putting Maddison in the position. And I'm relatively, I was willing to give Maddison a chance, but it didn't happen. I don't want to just keep bashing Maddison as well. But what have we got?
I think stubborn. I think stubborn's
Yeah.
a good way to describe Rodgers. To be fair, sometimes I think stubborn's a good way to describe him. I think.
Yeah.
And it takes a while for him to realize, or sometimes it takes a while, or he's forced into doing something and then it kind of works. But he doesn't make decisions sort of haphazardly. He always seems to give people a chat, like a long time to prove themselves, or he's not a fan of mixing things up too drastically.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Again, yeah, boy. Hopefully you're good. I don't think we need to. Go back to finishing mid-table. I don't think we'll finish mid-table. However, this is a blip that we should be a bit concerned about. There's signs that we're going in the right direction, in my opinion. It's easy to throw the baby out with the bathwater in this one and just go, everything is rubbish. We're going to finish mid-table. We're going to get relegated and stuff. I'm not interested in that. There was parts of it which was good, but we have to get to a certain point where we go, this is where we need to improve, and this because we have to sort it out soon because the next game's upcoming against Millwall, so we have to sort it out as well. Ian, thanks Ian for your comment as well. Not a big fan of Leicester, but 3 main decisions went the wrong way, 100%. And we think we mentioned the first one. I can't remember what we mentioned now as well. But is there anything else? Because apart from that, it was just annoying. A lot of the time, it was just so annoying for the most part.
Yeah.
The decisions, but also the reason why we analyze Leicester is because we want Leicester. We know Leicester can do better. Yuri Tielemans should be playing like he did in the second half. In the first half, he should be doing that for 90 minutes because we know he can do it game in, game out for us, and he did it all last season. Wilfred Ndidi could be another one that's a little bit criticism. Ricardo didn't get forward as much in the first half. He had his pocket picks a few times as well, so it seemed like the whole level just dropped, and then a couple of slaps on the face by going 2-0 down. It should take you more than that to be able to play football.
Yeah, I think that there's 2 main takeaways from the game today, and I am bloody annoyed. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really kind of holding it down. I'm really because I am fuming really with the way the way that game unfolded. But I think there's 2 ways to look at it. There's the fact that we were awful in the first half, and there's no blaming the ref for that. There's no I wouldn't even blame individual players. I would have a serious look at our lineup and our tactics, and the fact that we just weren't we weren't ready. We weren't ready to start the game. Firing. But then I think the second half is a completely different story. Like we played really well. We deserved to get something out of the game. The VAR decisions, completely didn't go our way. So yeah, I think you can, I'm going to feel salty because of the decisions, but and the fact that we deserve something. But I think that we all need to look at that first half and figure out how to change things moving forwards to try and improve the way we're playing. Because let's face it, we haven't hit our highest level yet this season.
No, which is a good sign. But at the same time, we need to sort this out because if we don't sort it out now, it will come. The top have strengthened and they are running away a little bit at the moment. Look at Man United. They're 1-0 down, they win 2-1. Man United fans, I know Man United fans are not happy with Ollie or something like that, but he gets results and that's why he's in the business, and that's kind of what we have to get right, which I think we will do, but we need to criticize what we need to criticize. VAR we can't do anything about, but we need to get better on this as well. But any final thoughts before finishing, Tom?
Yeah, I don't know. We it's still early, but we do. It's getting the pressure starting to build now. We need to start getting some wins on the board. I think we don't want to. We've made some real good progress the last few years, and we've made the squad even stronger. So it's just disappointing to see us start a bit slowly, and we don't want to be a mid-table Premier League team. We shouldn't be. So hopefully we can start getting points on the board. And this thing that, like Glenn points out, this whole thing about taking 45 minutes to figure out that we're even playing a game of football, that this is a serious, it's not just a friendly, it's a serious Premier League game that we need to compete in. It has to stop. Like it's so frustrating to see us to see the Jekyll and Hyde performances that we see so often from Rodgers's team.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Totally agree. Right, we'll have to leave that one there. Thank you for all your comments as well. Really, really appreciate it. Make sure you go over and follow Tom's channel here. Fox and Fancy is going to have, I think you were live on Friday, right? So you got fancy football all ready to go.
Oh, mate, do you know what? It's just been an awful weekend for me all round. Like, this, the fantasy, I mean, tune in this week if you want to hear me rant again, because, yeah, it's been an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind. Never mind.
It's all right. We'll go have a lie down, try and forget about this result. Hopefully the team, and again, not just Brendan Rodgers, the players have to take responsibility as well for this as well. And we have to move on to the next game. But if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see everybody in the next video. So goodbye.